Hello, Elder Smith here. Now, today I would like for us to continue where we left off in Genesis. We're now in chapter 47. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, My father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land that are we come, for thy servants are no past for thy servants have no pastures for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, Thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and thy brethren to dwell in the land of Goshen. Let them dwell. And if thou knowest any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over thy cattle. And Joseph brought in Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers, and the days of their pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh, and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren, and gave them a possession of the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren, and all his father's household, with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. You see, this is where things are starting to get tough, despite what Joseph did. The food that they stored away, they still got plenty of it, but people are coming and going buying the food. Now it's reaching a point where their money is starting to grow short from it as a result, and there's still some years left of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money and what was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn that they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And the money failed, and in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan, and all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give you give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. So he's saying, okay, so if your money is starting to run short, if you don't have the money for the food, that's fine. We'll treat your cattle as money. So just so you can buy the food with your cattle, make a trade, in other words. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle and all for that year. And that year was ended, and they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord, how that our money is spent. My lord also hath our herds and our cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and our lands. So now they are really in a tight place now. And this shows how Egypt is sort of as being magnified, actually, is being lifted up as being built up as a very powerful financial nation, because they've profited off of this the 7 years of famine. People came all over Egypt and other lands, including the land of Canaan. They spent money on the food till they've got no money to spend left. And even the Egyptians are starting to panic. And Joseph says, Oh, that's okay. Your cattle can be used in replacement of money. Well, now, not only do they now have the money, they no longer have the cattle. And yet the famine's still going on. So they've got nothing at this point. They got the food that they can buy, but nothing to buy the food with. Now this is where Egypt kind of gets another boost here. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed, that we may live and not die, and the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. Now, Pharaoh was always ruler over Egypt, but because of the circumstances here, all the land of Egypt is now bought in his personal property. The entire country, land and property wise, belongs to him now. This gives him more of an authoritative hold over Egypt, to the point where it's no wonder during this time that the Pharaoh was thought to be equal to the gods of Egypt and everything, because he was getting all this authoritative power as a result. So whatever he said, no one could disagree with him. No one could say no. He was gaining all this authoritative power that would carry on over to his sons and his sons' sons, and so on and so forth. And as for the people, he removed them, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt, even to the other, and thereof. Only the land of the priest bought he not, for the priest had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did he eat their portion, which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. And Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass, in the increase ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own for seed, and of the field for your food, and for them of your household, and for the food for your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto the day that Pharaoh should have a fifth part, except the land of the priest only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. Now we're seeing the promise that God gave to Abraham starting to go into full bloom here. For he said to Abraham, not only would he give him the land of Canaan, which they left now for a time, but he said that his seed could not be numbered as the stars in heaven could not be numbered, or the sand of the sea. Now, he had Isaac, which was only one son pertaining to the promise, not including Ishmael, because he was not part of he was not the promised son. Then Isaac had another son, which made him a descendant of the seed of promise, which is Jacob, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He had 12 sons. Each one would later become the 12 tribes, and now the family is multiplying exceedingly. They are growing at a rapid pace at this point. We're seeing the seed of Abraham finally go into full bloom to where can they be numbered? Probably still at this point, but they're just starting to multiply. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh, and Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in a burying place. And he said, I will do so, as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Israel bowed himself on the bed's head. Now that ends the chapter right there. But what makes this chapter very important is this shows just how powerful Egypt is becoming. Now, during the time of Moses, which will happen hundreds of years down the line, Egypt was or at least one of the, if not the strongest, most powerful nations in the world at that particular time. And this event that we just read is how Egypt accumulated so much power and became so great. Now, this is important to know because I believe that this was planned by God himself to make Egypt such a great nation so that when it chose to stand against God during the time of Moses, God proved that even the greatest nation in the entire world can't stop God from his plans and what he will have done. He helped Israel out, but that's the story for a later time. But the point is this shows that sometimes God will let things go up to be exalted so that later on his power may be demonstrated so that those who are not exalted may stand against those things that are. And when God gives the lower people strength, they overcome the greater nations. Because to be honest with you, Israel is a great nation and will be a great nation here in the Old Testament, but in terms of size, it's tiny. You could fit the entire country inside the state of Indiana or Ohio. So when you got a state that's bigger than a country, that shows you just how tiny Israel is when compared to all the other countries. And yet, because God blessed them, because God gave them strength, they always managed to overcome their enemies when they walked right in the sight of the Lord. And that'll be today's video. Also, if you're still watching, just so you know, I finally got the Discord server set up. I will post a link to it in the description of this video, and I'll go back and post the same link to all the previous videos. So I'm announcing now, the server is ready. If you wish to join the community, feel free to join. You will be welcome. So with that said, remember to study, to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word, put on the whole armor of God, and fight the good fight.